Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Moltar is back, and I do not have a hat on because I forgot one, but we are here. SATAL 2020, Gold League again. It is going to be... Who flies today? It is going to be TAW Wolfpack taking on Eclipse Task Force, Maycop against Anapa. So flatland, wastelands, nowhere to hide. This is first place against last place in the Hornet division for Gold League. So will Eclipse Task Force Premium Edition be able to make something happen? Now, I do need to shout out and say that a Premium Edition, it did take the place of another team, so they inherited their points. So don't get too disheartened on them or, think they've got something to live up to. They did fill in for another team, so they inherited, who was it? I don't remember what the team was that they filled in for. My memory is not very good, but they filled in for somebody, so and that team was in last place, and they took over all of their point standings. So the points don't show the full story, ladies and gentlemen. But today, again, Eclipse Task Force Premium Edition taking on TAW Wolfpack Maycop against Anapa. Let's see that Thrustmaster Supercut done by Alpha Whiskey. Here we go. When we get back, we'll be in the sim getting ready to take off. We are here in the sim. My face needs to be corrected because the, where? Okay. Here we go. Got rid of that green there. Yeah, I lost my cap. It's gone. It disappeared. Actually, I just forgot to put a hat on. So, sometimes that happens. But anyway, guys, we are here in the sim. We are currently looking at TAW Wolfpack. They are being represented by Takano, Impact, Preacher, and Bad Lego. And then if we flip over and take a look at who is representing Eclipse Task Force, it is going to be Conway, Barracuda, Patrick's, and who is not over here yet? There he is. And Nate Dogg. So those are the four pilots representing them. They are all 16s, and then TAW is 2 16s and 2 18s. Now, I did turn on some eye candy today. I don't know how the stream's going to run. It may take a massive poop. It may run fairly well. I'm not entirely sure. I got a 3090. Okay? I was able to get one here locally. I was able to pay MSRP, retail value, didn't overpay for it, which was awesome. I've got 24 gigs of VRAM. Now, the VRAM does not equate to things being, the overall power of the GPU being as good. I think it's like 30 to 40% better than a 2080 Ti. I don't know what that means for optimization here in DCS. I turned a lot of eye candy on. I turned all the details from low to high, which should be fine for this because they're VRAM related, so they should be fine. I turned water up, which I may end up turning down. I turned all of the shadows up, which I think may eat us up because we're running 4 clients. The shadows may kill us, so I may have to turn that back down. But the goal here, ladies and gentlemen, is now that I have a 3090, as we get closer to the new organization for everybody's private tracks, which I launched a couple, like last week or so, I gave everybody access to their own Google Drive repository so they don't have to send them to me and then I end up losing them. What that means is hopefully we can run 2 to 4 more cameras. So in Gold League, if I can run 8 cameras, right? If I can run 9, let's say I can add 5, and if I can turn everything down enough, if I can run 9, that means we can run a dedicated camera for every pilot in Gold League, okay? And a third-person camera and TAC view. Now, I know my CPU is up to it. The question will be, is the GPU up to be able to handle that many clients at the same time? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to have to see. But anyway, this is going to be Eclipse Task Force taking on TAW Wolfpack. So Eclipse Task Force Premium Edition taking on TAW Wolfpack, Anapa against Maycop. There are foothills down to the south, which we can see here. Foothills down to the south below Bullseye, but the majority of this area is wasteland. And by wasteland, I just mean flatland. I mean, it's farm field. It's not like a desert. There's stuff there. It's not a terrible place. I'm sure it's a great place to be, but there's no place as far as air combat. It might as well be a wasteland. There's no place to hide. And the foothills here aren't very tall, so you can get really low, and you may be able to dodge things if the other team is low. But, man, if they are anywhere in the altitude spectrum, you're going to die. Now, there's no Phoenix here. There's no Tomcats. A lot of 16s and 2 18s. And I think there is at least one JF-17. I think there's actually 2. I think Nate Dogg is flying one, and I think Takano is flying one. So I think there's 4 16s, 2 17s, and 2 18s, I think, is what's being represented here. So if we flip over to camera 2, we can see the rest of Eclipse Task Force here departing. Boop. Let's do that. Let's do this. There we go. So now we can go back over here and you guys can see everybody. So a little bit of an ingress here, not too long. Battle should be getting underway here rather soon. But like I said earlier, this is first place against last place. However, Eclipse Task Force inherited JG78 standing, so do not discount them. JG78 was in last place. They didn't have a victory. They left Gold League, and Eclipse Task Force was kind enough to fill in for them. So don't underestimate Eclipse Task Force. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in this match. Just know it's first versus last place. Eclipse Task Force does not have a victory, but that's not all due to them. They filled in for JG78, so just heads up there. Huge shout-outs to Gordo B for making it rain. He is just giving everybody the subs. He's the Oprah of subs, and he will be getting an emote. I have submitted some stuff to a gentleman on Fiverr who does phenomenal work. Shout out to Bullet. He also gave a sub, or came back with a tier 1. And then Diagnosis D, 20 bits. Then another 100 bits. 1/4 Bullet, always making it hail at me on stage. Thank you very much. I'm just getting caught up with everybody. Who else? Monk, another 100 bits. Much appreciated. I think there was, and I think I'm all caught up. But Gordo B has dropped like 20 gifted subs so far. So thank you very much for all of that, Gordo. He's in a hotel somewhere. He sent me a picture of his setup, watching it on the TV in the hotel room. So much appreciated. And Bullet throws another penny at me, hit me right in the forehead, and I'm gonna have welts all over me, Bullet. Just penny after penny, smacking me. But it's how Bullet shows his appreciation. So much appreciated. It all goes back now to repaying the coffers for the 3090, $1,700. But I mean, it's a tough edition. It's an Asus Tough, which is one of the best regarded ones, and I got it for MSRP. It still has the games and everything, like the downloadable games and everything. It wasn't registered with Asus, so I think I got a pretty darn good deal. Solid. Separation between the two teams looks to be about 75 miles. Barracuda and Patrick's were leading the way for Eclipse Task Force, but they have since turned around and are catching back up with Conway and Nate Dogg. Meanwhile, on the other side of this equation, TAW Preacher and Bad Lego are leading the way, quickly flanked by Takano and Impact. And Impact is going off. I don't know where Impact's going. Impact is down here to the south. He's not trying to hide. He's at 30,000 feet. Reminder, this is Gold League, so there are AWACS on both sides. Now, teams can turn them off, but every match has AWACS. There are no mission locations without AWACS like there are in Diamond. So just remember that. Gordo B gave out another Tier 1 sub. Can't see who that one was given to. Maybe it was to Heezy. Thank you very much, brother. Much appreciated. SD10 and AIM 120 now being launched. Let's grab that SD10 because the SD10, for those that don't know, is a monster at high altitude. She can get things done, and here she comes. SD10, 1,800 knots, 53,000 feet. Just cruising. Just cruising here. We're going to go back to TAC view so you guys can see as this thing ingresses, because it's launched from a long way, but this thing has Phoenix potential. Phoenix potential if it's launched within the correct parameters. Gordo B gifts another 5 gifted subs to Athena Tab, Leon, Whipsaw, Mitra, and Ivan B. Shoulder. Much appreciated, brother. He's in the giving mood. Again, the Oprah of DCS. Now let's jump back to the dedicated flight view of the SC-10. You can see it's now coming on terminal guidance. It looks like it is on Preacher. Zoom in on this so you guys can see its ingress here on Preacher. It's still at 1,000 knots. But I think it's going to quickly run out because it's still got 5 miles to ingress here, and it's slowly dipping. 1,000 knots, getting ready to drop under 1,000 knots now. And I think Preacher's going to be able to get away from this because this missile's going to have to turn into terminal guidance. Well, it's in terminal guidance, but it's not going to be able to turn well enough to come by. But it actually gets really close with Preacher, but it just didn't have the smash to be able to make something happen. Now, I would have thought in real life maybe that would have had a proximity fuse detonate, but this isn't real life, and we are here in the DCS sim, so it flew harmlessly by him. Barracuda now getting in deep. Is he going to be able to run down Impact or Takano? That I am not sure of. But he is deep. He may be turning off onto Bad Lego. Bad Lego, I love your name. Impact breaking away, doing a split S. Away from Barracuda. Now he's dragging a 120C that I don't think is going to be any type of threat. Can we see it back there? It is 4 miles behind him. And meanwhile, Barracuda has broken off his engagement, trying to run down either Impact or Takano. Now, what are your guys' predictions? TAW has been a force to be reckoned with in both Diamond and Gold League. Do you think they're going to have it here and stay on their way in the undefeatedness? Well, I think they actually lost one round here in Gold League. I think it was to German Tactical Air Group. I think that's how it went. But do you think they're going to be able to carry on and solidify their position in first place going into, as we get closer and closer to the end of the league, moving into SATAC or the championships? What do you guys think? I haven't been paying attention really to what you guys are doing with predictions. Lots of missiles now being launched from Conway and Patrick's. One came off from Preacher, and all 4 of these guys, Impact, Preacher. Ooh, I thought that was on Impact. Who's that on? Maybe it's not tracking. And then Impact launches one. Impact is at Mach 0.9, so I don't anticipate that being an issue. That was launched from 12 miles. Yeah, and these are a weapon restrictions, so 120C, but 12 miles from 20-some thousand feet on a 20-some thousand foot target at Mach 1. I don't think that's going to have any bearing on what's going to happen here. Both of these guys, Impact and Patrick's, are getting away from the incoming missiles without a problem. Impact's getting much low. Well, Patrick's is actually down at 1,000 feet, so he's just the same altitude as Impact, but both of these guys aren't having any problem getting away from the incoming threat. So well neutralized there. Bad Lego is just down here in... Bad Lego, what are you doing? Where are you? Are you lost? He's taken himself totally out of the fight. Is he having aircraft issues? No, because we can look at him here. So there he is. He's not having any aircraft issues. Maybe he's having an alignment issue, but he's down here just floating around 20 miles, 30 miles away from the combat area. Not sure what's going on there. But now we've got an SD-10 coming in on Takano. Let's grab it. So here's the SD-10 coming in on Takano, and it is 3 miles away, 1,100 knots, and I don't think it's going to have enough energy as it gets closer. It's going to have the same thing as it was the one against Impact. As it gets closer here, it's just not going to have the energy, the airflow over the fins to be able to turn tight enough to turn into Takano's aircraft. And actually, Takano's now outrunning that missile as it comes down under 500 knots. Barracuda is back on the offensive. Seems like he's in on Takano. Bad Lego now was coming back into the fight, but immediately breaks off. That 120 is unsupported. But I still think it may be something worth looking at. So here's the 120 as it comes against Barracuda. It is at 1,200 knots, but it's rapidly bleeding airspeed, 18,000 feet, and Barracuda is now turning tail and running away. And that 120, I think, has lost track, so it is trashed. Bad Lego was just way too far away to make that an effective shot. I would have rather see him save that missile. Now we need to jump up and look at Impact as he released a 120 onto Patrick's. And that 120, if we take a look at it, is at 1,100 knots. So these missiles are being launched from just a bit too far away. A bit too far away to be able to have an effect. Guys need to be a little bit more patient. Wait a little bit longer. The 120s from like 10 to 15 to 20,000 feet, you want to be inside 10 miles. Inside 10 miles to make them effective so that the missile has enough smash by the time it reaches its target to be able to maneuver in on it. You can also counter or offset that by increasing your launching airspeed. Nate Dogg now launching another SD-10, and he is actually the only JF-17, so it's 316s and a singleton JF-17. Nate Dogg now launching an SD-10. That one looks like it's coming in on Bad Lego. Mach 3.3, Bad Lego now defending, decides to put a 120 out on Nate Dogg, and that's from 15 miles. Guys, just wait in this situation. If you take away anything from this match, just wait, right? Save that missile, because not only are you going to have that missile later in the match, but you're also going to possibly create a scenario where the guy, in this case Nate Dogg, may get in too deep and find himself in an unrecoverable or uncounterable scenario because he's that much closer to a launching aircraft, right? But if you're launching from 15 miles away, he's going to defend that missile and he's not going to put himself in harm's way. Impact now head-to-head against Patrick's. Patrick's puts a 120 out on Impact. We can see a bit better image of that missile as it comes in. It's coming in on Impact. Impact launches a 120 onto Barracuda before he defends, and that missile was launched from 7 miles. So that is a better missile. Barracuda is now defending. He's at Mach 1. I don't see that missile yet. He's aggressively defending. Where is it? There it is. And it's 0.6 miles, and it's going to fly into the ground. It doesn't have enough energy to be able to get that airflow over the wings and be able to pull up with Barracuda in that scenario. So decent shot from Impact, but great defensive maneuvering from Barracuda. And let's pause this and take a quick look at at the scenario of what's going on so far. Still 4 pilots remaining for both sides. We have Patrick's and Conway up here to the north. They're the northern two-ship for Eclipse Task Force. And then to the south, we have Barracuda and Nate Dogg. They're separated by approximately 15 miles. I'd like to see them a bit closer. On the TAW side, they have a bit of this concave going on. They've got this semicircle, this wedge, if you will, going on and encompassing Eclipse Task Force. Barracuda is getting in to a position where he's running out of places to run away. Takano and Bad Lego are down here to the south. Bad Lego is now back into the fight instead of being way down here to the south. And then Impact and Preacher are up here to the north and northeast, surrounding Barracuda. Now, Conway is, how far away is he from Impact? He's 13 miles away. In this situation, I'd like to see Impact drag Conway towards Preacher, okay? Maybe get Conway to sort onto Preacher, and then have Impact do an end around and be able to come back in head-to-head against Conway from a more fruitful position, a position that is going to give his missiles more potential to impact their target. Conway, on the other hand, needs to be aware of Preacher. He's, I think, sorted on Impact. He needs to be aware of Preacher in this position. Preacher's getting ready to recommit. Don't tunnel vision on Impact. And if Preacher does recommit, switch off of Impact onto Preacher into a 1v1 and not get in too deep. But wait long enough for your missiles to have the highest amount of kinetic energy launched from your aircraft and the best chance at impacting Preacher. But we're going to hit play, see how this is going to shake out, and see what happens in either one of these scenarios. Now, Nate Dogg down here to the south may have a shot against Takano, but that seems to be taken away as Takano has launched a 120 onto Nate Dogg. 12 miles from 15,000 feet. Just wait there. That missile, if people are actively defending like they do in SATAL, it's not going to have any effect on this except push people away, okay? So we're going to hit play. I think what we're going to see is Nate Dogg turn away. But Conway and Impact, something may happen up here to the north. Here we go. Impact is continuing to drag up here to the north. Nate Dogg down here to the south is now turning away and defending that 120. Barracuda is cold. Patrick's has turned back in. Preacher is now recommitting. And look at what Impact is doing. Impact is recommitting here. So we're going to go to a split screen between Impact and Conway. Okay? Actually, we need to pause this because I think this camera got a little bit delayed. So I need to play this and make sure it gets caught back up. Conway's camera didn't play. So we got to get it caught back up here. Sorry about that, guys. Getting caught back up. But Preacher has now recommitted against Conway. So we have a head-to-head situation developing here from inside 10 miles. This is the type of situation where things can happen. Missiles are, I think, going to come off the rail. And if somebody doesn't defend immediately from what's going on, Conway is 10 miles off the nose of Impact, and Impact is 10 miles off the nose of Conway. If these guys don't defend immediately, if this gets under 9 miles, someone is going to die. The difference, I think, may come down to airspeed. But let's see. Hit and play. Here we go. Okay, so these guys are coming in. Impact on the left, Conway on the right. We're under 10 miles. This is potentially an undefendable position for these guys. Both guys launch. Impact is much more aggressive in his defensive maneuvering, and he is already much lower than Conway. He's down to 3,000 feet. Meanwhile, Conway is at 7,000 feet, and Conway gets plastered. He is going to be in bits and pieces all over the wall, or excuse me, all over the floor from getting taken down by Impact's missile. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is simply because of the aggressive defensive maneuvering. Impact was much more aggressive than Conway in that particular maneuver, and because Impact was more aggressive, he was able to get away from that incoming threat. Now, Patrick's launches a 120 against Preacher. Here's the 120 coming in against Preacher. Preacher is not defending yet. Now he's breaking away. Here it comes. And the missile's down to 1,000 knots. Preacher is already turned cold. Missile's not going to catch him, and I think it's out of energy. He doesn't have the energy to be able to pull up. So well defended by Preacher. That goes into the ground. And these guys are now resetting. 4 pilots remaining for TAW. 3 pilots now remaining for Eclipse Task Force. Head-to-head incursion coming on down here between Nate Dogg and Takano. ST-10 launched from Nate Dogg. 120 launched from Takano. And that ST-10, if we look from Takano's point of view, here's Takano right here. ST-10 is 2.5 miles behind him. Not going to be a factor there. He's able to easily get away from that one. 120 launch from Impact onto Barracuda. Barracuda now, if we take a look at his aircraft, can we get there? Barracuda is dragging this 120. Where is it? There it is. And it is 0.2 miles behind him, ladies and gentlemen, and just barely runs out of enough energy to be able to run Barracuda's aircraft down. So decent shot by Impact, but Barracuda is able to get away from that incoming threat. Now let's pause to make sure we don't miss anything and take stock in what's going on here. Impact is now recommitted and then launched another missile. I don't know who. This one looks like it's on Nate Dogg, and Nate Dogg is low and hot. Okay, so Nate Dogg is right here. We're going to switch to his point of view. Here is Nate Dogg in his JF-17, and that missile, it's got Nate Dogg's name written all over it. Let's grab the missile now. Here it is, and it is coming in still under boost from Impact. Let's hit play. Here we go. Split screen now. Nate Dogg on the right, missile, Nate Dogg on the left, missile on the right, and Nate Dogg just gets hammered. His wings leave his aircraft, and Impact is a one-man wrecking crew right now, ladies and gentlemen. He has 2 quick kills. 2 quick kills. Takes down Conway, takes down Nate Dogg, and he is making things happen in this matchup. And now I think we need to look. Oh, Impact actually went down. So he made something happen, but he made something happen at the expense of his own life. So Impact gets smashed, and it turns into a trade. But he does take 2 kills. So it's a 2v1 trade there if you look at it that way. Now we've got Barracuda coming in. Barracuda was the one that took down Impact. And now Bad Lego is launching a 120 onto Barracuda. That was launched from roughly 10 miles. Is he going to be able to get away from that one? Let's check it out. 120 coming in onto Barracuda. Still got 1,200 knots. Is he going to be able to get away from it? It's going to be close. Here it comes. Is it going to be able to run him down? I don't think so. It's going to barely run out of energy, and it is all over his behind. It can smell the exhaust fumes of his aircraft, but it just can't quite reach out and touch him. Now I need to take stock again. We need to pause and see what's going on here. So we actually lost another aircraft. Did we? Takano. Who did he take down? Takano took down... Who did we lose here? Or is somebody just out of the fight? No, sorry, we got 3 TAW guys and 2 ETF. That's how it should be. Okay, so now Takano is getting a quick shot off onto Barracuda. He's launched this 120, just coming off of his aircraft. If we zoom in here, just launched. Okay, so here's the view from the missile. We can see Barracuda 6.5 miles away from the nose of that missile. Here is Barracuda. Barracuda, meanwhile, has launched onto Takano. Now, Takano, if we take a look at the TAC view, is, I think, in a better defensive position. Well, I can't really tell because the 120 is in the way. Can't tell. Can we zoom in here? Takano's in a better defensive position. He's got 0.2, 0.3 Mach faster airspeed than Barracuda. So let's play. Let's see how this goes. Split screen coming at you. Here we go. So Barracuda's not yet defending. Takano defended immediately after that missile was launched. And I think Barracuda's in a ton of trouble now. 2 miles, 1.5 miles, 1 mile, half mile, face mile, and Barracuda is now the next casualty. And things are happening here in rapid succession. And now we have Bad Lego up here to the north coming in on Patrick's. And Patrick's may be in trouble. Where is it? Where's it? Pause. Okay, don't want to miss anything. So we've got Patrick's now in defensive maneuvering against Bad Lego. Let's hit play again. Bad Lego's coming in from Patrick's Patrick's is right. And we have two 120s now on the 6 of Patrick's half mile, another 1.1 mile, and he gets smashed by two 120s. So that match got started immediately, and then guys just started dying. There was no buffer during that match. First guy died, it was Conway, and then things just started happening. Bam, 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 thank you, ma'am. No pause, no break. Impact got us started, and then Bad Lego finishes us off. TAW ends that matchup with 3 pilots remaining. Eclipse Task Force having none. And guys, if you don't know, when you don't have pilots, you can't win a match. That's bad news. But TAW coming out, especially Impact. Now, Impact did die. So that does suck. It sucks when you die. You don't want to die. Impact comes out, gets 2 quick kills against Conway and Nate Dogg. Unfortunately, he dies to Barracuda. Barracuda takes down Impact. Then Barracuda is immediately killed about a minute later by Takano in a head-on situation. And a big part of this, in my eyes, ladies and gentlemen, is down to the ability of TAW to have a much better sense of airspeed. In the majority of those engagements, TAW was much, much faster. 0.2, 0.3 Mach faster than Eclipse Task Force. And when you're that much faster and you defend maybe 1 to 2 seconds earlier, you're going to be able to get away from those fights easier. And the enemy, because your missile was launched from 0.2 to 0.3 Mach faster, is going to have a much more difficult time being able to out-energy or evade those incoming threats, especially when they defend 1 to 2 seconds later than you. That is a recipe for getting hits with the missile smack dab in the face. And we all know unwanted facials are a bad, bad thing. Nobody likes an unwanted facial. It's just not something anybody is looking forward to in their day. Nobody wakes up and is like, guys, I want somebody to hit me with a facial at some random time during the day. Now, KV says, speak for yourself. And maybe some of you guys are wanting that. I personally am not. It's not something I wake up thinking, yeah, today's the day that I get hit by something in the face, just unbeknownst to me, right? Today's the day. Anyway, let's fast forward this a little bit as these guys RTB. These guys are RTB back to Maycock. Quick little RTB coming here. This map isn't very big, so this RTB isn't going to take him very long. Now, what does Eclipse Task Force need to do here? One, I just talked about airspeed. They need to make sure that they get their airspeed up when they're coming into these engagements. Two, defend early. Eclipse Task Force seemed to wait to try to get missiles off, to make something happen. Typically when that happens, bad things are in store for you. When you wait to try and launch a missile, right? When you're waiting to try and launch a response against an adversary that has already launched something at you, you are putting yourself at serious risk to dying. And my favorite thing is, if you're dead, you can't win. Being dead is bad. Sound like John Madden, but being dead means you can't win the match. Or you can't participate, which isn't a good thing. So defend early. Don't always worry about getting a response off if you've been launched on. Getting a response off a lot of times is negative. If they launch at you and you turn around, you have the ability to possibly create a dragon bag scenario where they can stay focused on you, right? And one of your wingmen can be able to come in and take them out. But if you launch on them, they're just going to turn around. And they're probably going to be able to get away from your incoming threat because after they launch, they're probably already defending before you launched on them. So if you're going to launch early. Make sure you have the airspeed. and use that altitude. Those are the three things that I think Eclipse Task Force needs to adjust to be able to make themselves effective going into round 2. TAW just made those things happen. Preacher, I'm not sure where Preacher's going. He's on a service road. Crew Chief's not going to be happy about that one. But anyway, that brings us to the end of round 1. TAW takes that one pretty commandingly. 3 pilots remaining to Eclipse Task Force's 0. And again, if you don't have any pilots left, odds are you probably lost, unless the other team doesn't make it back, runs out of fuel, or everybody crashes, which in SATAL, that's probably not going to happen. Okay? Probably not going to happen. So, that brings us to the end of round 1, excuse me. I'm going to send you guys to the Supercut. Then I'm going to send you back to the Be Right Back screen. I got to run upstairs and take my vitamins and get something to drink, and we will be right back, and we will go into round 2. Will Eclipse Task Force be able to make the needed changes to take on TAW and take one from them and send us into a critical round 3? Or will TAW carry on being the freight train they are and just continue the dismantling of Eclipse Task Force? I don't know. But round 2 is coming at you here in just a few minutes. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little bit of a bagel crisis upstairs. My wife loves Asiago cheese bagels, which I think taste awful. I think they're terrible. I hate them. And my son likes them too. Well, he ate like one bite of one and then threw it away. And he's 10. We're trying to teach him, don't be wasteful. If you think it tastes weird, go talk to somebody about it and make a decision. Don't just throw away a whole bagel. It's not very smart. So anyway, had a little conversation about bagels and wasting food. My wife's like, I'll eat it out of the trash. I'm like, babe, I know you love these bagels, but it's been in the trash with like rotten pizza and stuff. No, we're not doing that. So, yeah, we had a little bit of a bagel crisis. Zelfer, there are no, so we changed to the Twitch point system. Now, somebody was asking, can you see points? The points, from my understanding, you can see in Twitch chat at the bottom because you can do highlighted messages and stuff with points. So you should be able to see your Twitch points numbers. I think they're at the bottom of chat. So over there, if you highlighted messages like that. So those are the points that you can utilize for stuff like that. So somebody was asking, how do you see how many points you have? They're at the bottom of chat, and you can see how many points you have. You get more points by winning predictions and by also just being here. Is the bet command the same? No. How it works is Jaster, one of the mods, will launch a prediction, and that prediction will tell you what you need to do. And I think you can just click at the top of your chat window, and you can be able to utilize that. Aerospace is dropping the points. He's making it happen, and Monk's doing the same. So that's what those are for. I wouldn't waste them because I think we can actually utilize them for giveaways and stuff. So I would not waste those points. Okay, I would try and accumulate them. Honestly, you guys can use. I need to change the highlighted messages. 380 points is kind of dumb. But we can utilize them for other things, I think. I think I can utilize them for giveaways. I think. I need to really look into more about what they can be used for. But anyway, we're going to jump back into this match. And, well, before we do that, I need to get caught up on the subs and stuff. So Gordo B is continuing to make it rain. He's given like 40 subs today. Thank you very much, brother. Samurai comes in for the last 23 months with the tier 1. Monk dropped another 100 bits. Thank you. Gordo B gifted several more. Good Lord, man. And then do 200 bits. Durdo did 100 bits. Thank you very much. Bullet hit me in the face with another penny. Thank you. Much appreciated. And then another penny earlier. Bullet just likes, I'm going to have a black eye. Bullet, you and I think, need to go to counseling because this is abuse. I've got welts all over my face and my body, and my family does not appreciate it. They really are worried about me being in an abusive relationship. But I love you, and I can't get away from you. Just that kind of relationship. We have that kind of a relationship. You're taking advantage of me. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, let's jump back into the match. It is going to be TAW Wolfpack taking on Eclipse Task Force. TAW Wolfpack is currently up 1-0 over Eclipse Task Force. Is our match streamed tomorrow? Griffin versus my squadron. So supposedly that match didn't take place. That's why I didn't do it. You guys haven't flown that match yet. Doesn't happen until later this month. You flew it Saturday. Probably not tomorrow. I will try and get it like Thursday or Friday because I've already sent the schedule to Alpha Whiskey for the Supercuts, and I don't want to change that in case he's already started working on stuff. So maybe Thursday or Friday, and we can go down that route. No, the match is not over. We're moving into round 2. We're just getting caught up back on everything. I had a bagel crisis. Bagel Gate happened upstairs. We had to deal with it. Side note, because it's probably what I'm going to do after the stream. Does anybody play Helldivers? I've been playing I played Helldivers 4 or 5 years ago on the PlayStation and loved it. And my brother and I have been playing it. My son and I have been playing it on the PC, and it's been awesome. So I've been enjoying that. If anybody has Helldivers, shoot me a private message shoot me a private message in Discord, and we'll hook up and we can we can play, because that game's fucking awesome. And I don't have my pit for flying, so I can't do that yet. So, you know, I've just been doing that. I got a 3090, and I still don't have my pit. So we're going to jump back into the match. These guys have already taken off because I stopped the track a little bit late, but now we don't have to watch them taxi. So here we go. We're jumping back in. Eclipse Task Force is down 1-0 against TAW. Will they be able to bring him back? Let's check it out. So here we are, sitting in here. We're riding along with Patrick's. Actually, let's go to quad view so we can ride along with everybody. We got Patrick's, Bad Lego, Preacher, and Takano. Jaster has started the prediction. This is how the whole prediction thing works. If anybody that was asking, you click. I think you can click the banner, and you can do that. I think it's a lot cooler than the Streamlabs points because it's actually, you can actually utilize those points here in stream instead of just accumulating them for no reason. Like you're 5 years old or 10 years old and you're accumulating points in a game because you're addicted. So I think this is really cool. I'm glad. I think it was Jaster. Somebody said we should use this system instead of the other point system. It was a great suggestion. Great suggestion. Well worth it. So these guys are ingressing. Let's jump to the attack view here. Preacher and who is his wingman? Preacher and Bad Lego are leading the way in their 16s, followed by Impact and Takano in their 18s. And then over here for Eclipse Task Force, we've got Barracuda and Patrick's in the lead 2 ship. And then Nate Dogg in his JF-17 and Conway in another 16s. Again, 3 16s and a singleton JF-17 for Eclipse Task Force. And then 2 16s, Preacher and Bad Lego for TAW, and then 2 18s, Impact and Takano. Again, this is a Napa versus Maycop, so all flatlands. All flatlands. I mean, you do have these foothills down here, but mainly flatlands. Somebody was asking about our server. Okay. The server, Bear has done a phenomenal job with. Huge shout-outs to Bear because he has single-handedly built a phenomenal server. What we have realized, though, is that people do not give 2 shits about ground targets at all. So, does anyone have suggestions about how to make a creative air-to-air engagement? My suggestion, and I haven't told this to Bear yet, is to have a roaming bubble. King of the Hill. I think this gives points. It gives you something to fight for in the server, right? And it forces you to constantly change the location. Sometimes it's advantageous, slightly advantageous for the north side. Sometimes it's slightly advantageous for the south side. But my idea is to make it, and I was just thinking about this a couple days ago, King of the Hill, where you have this bubble. And I don't know how we would do this because you can't really see it. Like, how would you... Maybe you could do it on the map? I don't know, but maybe it would help people with map navigation and stuff. But King of the Hill, bubbles that people could sit in, and you would have to be able to hold it for your team. First, you would have to have more pilots in that bubble than your opposition for a certain amount of time as the timer comes down. And the more, if we could figure out how, the more advantageous your side is, the more people difference you have to the other team, the faster that counter would go down. So if we could do that, that would work. Teleporting EWR? Can you see EWR rings though? Yeah, Doom Sniper, it would be like Bullseye, right? If we could, I don't know how we would transmit the coordinates, but as far as air-to-air stuff, I feel like that would give everybody a reason for fighting and would be pretty easy on the server. So, I don't know. Do it like DDSCS where it's marked by flags or something. How can you make that work? without destroying the server? And can you see flags from 40,000 feet? Or do they just show up on the map? Is that how that works? I don't know. I'll have to talk to Bear about that one. But Gordo continuing to make it rain. Well, waypoints, obviously, but I want to find a way for you to be able to, for people to visually be able to see the edges of the map or edges of the bubble in the map. So you know, like, how far you have in the bubble. Like if you're looking at a King of the Hill on, I don't know, take Arma, for example, on the cost servers. You can see where the bubble edge is. You can see how far you have. You could sit right on the edge or whatever. You could do, you would know when you were in the bubble instead of just basing it on coordinates. You need a visual indication, I think, to make this work. But enough about that. That's just something I've been thinking about. Just things to think about. Well, Robski, I think Bear is a wizard, man. And I can't give him enough credit. He does amazing things, like the timer in SATAL that's in there now. That's all Bear. Totally built that from scratch. He's rebuilding a lot of stuff from scratch. I mean, he is a DCS scripting wizard, and he works his ass off. So I have to give massive kudos to Bear because he is virtually single-handedly building out the infrastructure both for the DCS World Event servers and for the SATAL stuff. I think this SD10 is going to catch somebody by surprise. All right, so let's grab it. I think it's going to surprise Kano. Where is it? So here's this SD10. Got this SD10 as it ingresses towards its target. Let's grab Takano now. Takano is right here. He's not defending yet. Takano is sitting at 31,000 feet. Let's go to split screen. This SD10 is sitting at 70,000 feet. 70,000 feet. Are you kidding me? 1,700 knots. This is going to hit him like an asteroid from outer space if it hits him. It's found him. It's coming in. 8 miles now. Preacher is right below it somewhere. It's flying over Preacher. Takano now recognizes the cat is out of the bag, but this missile still at 1,400 knots, 36,000 feet, has plenty of energy to be able to be maneuverable. And flipping over to Takano's screen, where is it? Where's that missile? There it is. 0.5 miles and still closing. Takano's in a world of trouble as it barrels in on his aircraft, and he gets taken down. That was from like 60 miles. Damn! Smashed in the rear end. He took a ramming. An unwanted penetration. Takano wasn't even lubed up or ready for that one, and TAW is down to 3 pilots. Eclipse Task Force getting the early kill against TAW, and they are setting the precedent for being able to equalize this one. Now 120 coming in on Preacher, but that thing's not going to be able to reach out. That thing is going to run out of energy way before it reaches its target, as it is still 6 miles away, and you can see it just bleeding its energy. 30,000 feet. Preacher is almost at Mach 1. If he turns away, and he's turning away aggressively now, that thing's not going to be able to do anything. Anything. So who is going to be able to come out and make things happen here? Who is going to be the one, if anyone from TAW, to step up and try and push this back the opposite direction? Or will Nate Dogg and his JF-17 get another quick kill? What is going to happen? Our current situation is TAW is down 1 pilot. It is 3-4. TAW with 3, Eclipse Task Force with 4. Not a place you want to be in. Especially when you get hit and die from 60 miles. Silver Phoenix says that is a great point. That was a fully loaded F-18, 10 missiles. 8 missiles, excuse me. 6 120s, 2 AIM-9s. That is a horrific hit to their morale and their war capability. What is TAW going to be able to do here? That is not a good position to be in. Another SD-10 coming off of Nate Dogg, and I think we really need to launch or watch this one as it comes in. Here it is. Is it going to be high again? Not as high, 35,000 feet. Give you guys the camera angle here. 35,000 feet. It is trying to chase down Bad Lego. Bad Lego is already cold. He may have seen the contrails coming from that missile. And he is running. Missile is at 1,000 knots, still descending, coming through 30,000 feet, and that missile's not going to be able to catch Bad Lego. Not at all. Not a chance in hell. Back to the attack view. So 120 launched from impact. Looks like it is coming after Nate Dogg, the JF-17, who got the early kill. It could be on Conway. I can't really tell yet. I think it's on Conway. But we will make sure. There. I think it's on Conway. 120 now coming from Barracuda. That is on impact. And then Preacher puts a 120 out onto Barracuda. So triangle of missiles. Missile was launched from over 10 miles. And that one, if we jump to Barracuda's perspective, right here. Where is it? There it is, 2.5 miles away. Barracuda's at 580 knots, 15,000 feet, aggressively turning away, doing an oblique to get away from this. Missile's going to expend great amounts of energy because it's turning, and it's not under power. So Barracuda is going to easily be able to run and fight another day from that. Preacher needed to just wait a little bit longer. We can see on the attack view how close it got. It got within a mile. If he waited a little bit longer, he could have potentially had a pretty easy kill. This is the key where you've got to wait. You've got to know your missile ranges. This is the part where DCS is very different from real life, where DCS you can practice your missile ranges. You can learn when you need to defend and when the unsurvivable distances and airspeeds are at the different altitudes. If Preacher would have waited a little bit longer, he could have had that kill. Could have had that kill. Just didn't quite wait quite long enough. Now Bad Lego's recommitting down here on the South 2 ship of Barracuda and Patrick's. Preacher is coming in on the Northern 2 ship of Conway and Nate Dogg for Eclipse Task Force. And then Impact is in trail. 120 coming from Bad Lego. Not sure which of that 2 ship Barracuda or Patrick's that's going to be on. One of them launched a 120 onto Bad Lego, and those are from over 12 miles. Neither of those is going to be able to do anything. And that 120 looks like it is on Patrick's. Barracuda is getting drugged. Now, this is the situation. This is great. This is great. We need to pause this. What is going on with these cameras? They didn't pause. So while we're talking about this, I'm going to keep it play. This is a fantastic situation. And as soon as I fix these cameras, I will explain why. Fantastic situation for TAW. Reason being, Bad Lego has pushed off one of the 2 ship. Okay? He's pushed off Patrick's. This is no longer a 2v2. This is a 1v2. And we're going to assume, I'm not in Barracuda's cockpit, so I don't know who he's sorted on, but we're going to assume that Barracuda is sorted on Bad Lego. There is a significant amount of altitude separation between Bad Lego and Impact. So if Barracuda is sorted and tunnel visioned onto Bad Lego, he may not see Impact. And this is a dragon bag situation that I've talked about numerous times, and I think we are finally going to see one happen. Now, the question that then is begged is, will this be fruitful for TAW? Or will Barracuda be able to make something happen even in a 2v1 situation? I don't know, but TAW has everything in their favor right now. They are in the driver's seat. Impact is in a great firing position at 20,000 feet. He's a little bit above Barracuda. However, Barracuda is very, very fast. He's at almost Mach 1.3. So if Barracuda defends early enough and fires at the right time, TAW Impact, if he continues on his hot trajectory, could be in a world of danger. So let's hit play, see how this is going to shake out. Here we go. We are now back under play. Let's go to split screen here. Well, we won't go to split screen yet. Let's go to TAW's Impact's point of view. He's now hot onto Barracuda, and actually nothing is going to happen because Barracuda wisely recognized that and we can flip back to the attack view so you guys can see this, has wisely recognized that, hey, this is a 2v1 situation. I want nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing to do with that. So massive credit to Barracuda for not getting himself into a position that was going to be unrecoverable. Great situational awareness to say, hey, I was sorted on bad Lego, but there's another guy that is now coming in. I need to be aware of that. He's turned away. However, Impact is now launched onto Nate Dogg. That launch came Mach 1.1. Pause again to take stock in what's going on in the current situation. So Impact has launched Mach 1.1 onto Nate Dogg. That missile came from 12 miles. However, Nate Dogg is not defending. Okay, Nate Dogg, let's grab him, is not defending here. So here's Nate Dogg's point of view. Boom. Nate Dogg sitting right here at 40,000 feet. Oh, no. Oh, no. That is actually a great shot from Impact. I think he recognized that Nate Dogg was really, really high and not really, really fast. He is almost Mach 1, but when you're at 40,000 feet and you're inside 15 miles to an opponent, that's at like Mach 1.1, which is the case TAW Impact was at. And he's not low. He was at about 20,000 feet. You're putting yourself at serious risk. So TAW Impact, I think, has recognized that. Let's grab his missile. TAW Impact, I think, has recognized that, has launched at Nate Dogg. And here is his missile. Let's go to split screen so we can see this. Here's his missile coming up at Nate Dogg. And Nate Dogg, if he doesn't defend right now and aggressively, very, very aggressively, he is going to die. But he did the patented mistake of trying to wait and get a missile off. And look at what's going to happen. He's going to get plowed. He gets smashed by an incoming missile. No. He waited. And because he waited, he died. Loses his wings, and without wings, you are dead. You turn in a missile in an aircraft unless you are a starfighter. If you do not have wings, you do not fly. Okay, so, man. He waited. Why did he wait? That tells me that he recognized that there was a missile coming, but waited to get a missile off himself. No. Damn. That sucks. And now Impact launching onto Barracuda. Barracuda is now launching onto Impact. Why did Barracuda not launch? I don't think Barracuda's in a very good firing position. So if we back up here slightly, he's only at 12,000 feet. Okay? Right when that launch happened. He's not overly fast. He's not close enough to be able to impart enough energy onto his missile to close that distance fast enough to be able to hit Impact. How far away is he now? He's okay now. However, Impact is already defending. He's already through his split S. If we look at Impact now, Impact is already vertical. And this would have a high amount of potential if Impact was still hot, but he's already halfway through his split S. So even though Barracuda has launched from under 6 miles, I don't think this is going to be... It may get close to Impact, but I don't think it's going to be able to hit him, especially if he starts serpentining here. The missile's going to run out of energy, and it's not going to be effective. So, well done by Impact. Recognizing the shot there onto Nate Dogg. Now he's getting a decent shot onto Barracuda. But Barracuda, I think, is going to be able to get away from it. Well, is he? Yeah, he ran that one into the ground. So Barracuda able to get away from that. Here's Barracuda's point of view. He was able to get away from that incoming threat. Drove that one to the ground. Good defensive flying by Impact Air Barracuda. We're now down to a 3v3. 3v3. Impact, Bad Lego, and Preacher for TAW. Conway, Patrick's, and Barracuda for Eclipse Task Force. Even playing field. TAW took the early loss with Takano going down to an SC-10 very early in the matchup. And then we see Nate Dogg eat a 120 flying at high altitude from Impact. Patrick's better be careful here. He's getting really close with Preacher. 120 now coming up from Patrick's. That was launched from 6 miles. Preacher now defending. Preacher running away from this incoming threat. Gonna see that missile. No, the missile detonated. We can hear it hit right off camera. And these guys are doing a great job of defending. This match is much, much closer than this round's much, much closer than last round. The pilots are getting much, much, much closer together. They're being much more aggressive in their defensive maneuvering and flying, with the exception of Nate Dogg, who I think waited a bit too long to be able to try and make something happen there. But look how close they're getting on these launches. Conway and Impact are going to be launching from inside 7 miles. And Impact actually doesn't launch. He may have zoomed in and seen Conway launching on him, and that missile coming in from Conway, is it going to be able to chase down Impact? No, because it lost track. So well done by Impact defending that. It runs into the ground. Well done. Well done there. So a continuation of great flying. My concern here, though, is we're seeing many, many more shots coming from Eclipse Task Force. So again, let's pause and take stock in what's going on. Lots of missiles coming off from Eclipse Task Force. I think it's a good time to look and see how many missiles we have left. Impact has 120, 2 AIM-9s. Preacher, 2 120s. Bad Lego, 4 120s. Okay, so TAW is looking pretty good. Barracuda, 1 120. That's not great. Patrick's, 1 120. Not good. And then Conway up here to the north. Conway's looking good. Conway has 4. But Barracuda and Patrick's are not looking so hot in their weapons remaining department. Was 3 for Patrick's? Preacher. 3 for Preacher. Okay. So if it's 3 for Preacher, that's even better. But Barracuda and Patrick's down here to the south, that's only 2 missiles for that side. Conway has 3 up here to the north. But if these two, Preacher and Bad Lego, come in on Barracuda and Patrick's, ETF is at a significant weapons holding disadvantage. Will TAW be able to take advantage of that? Obviously, in these rounds, you can't recognize how many munitions your opponent has left. You can guesstimate based on how many you think they've fired, but you don't have a solid number. So let's hit play and continue this. Preacher now launching onto Barracuda, and I think that's going to have some smash. Can we get it? Can we get it? There it is. So here comes the missile, and it's coming in on Barracuda, and this thing is cooking. 1,300 knots, flying, still chasing Barracuda down, and I think it's going to be able to hit him at treetop level, gets the exhaust fumes, flies right up his tailpipe, and gets the penetration needed. And explosions inside your exhaust, and Conway gets taken down. So 2 guys for ETF go down back to back. And we're going to pause this to make sure we don't miss anything. That is not good at all. Not good at all. Impact takes down Conway, and then Preacher takes down Barracuda and leaves Patrick's all on his own. So now instead of it being 3v3, this is a 3v1. Man, not good. Horrible turn of events. Those were great shots coming from the TAW side. They had a ton of energy on their missiles, and even though ETF turned away from them, the missile had more than enough energy to be able to run him down. So those are the situations, ladies and gentlemen, you need to recognize that I don't have the energy to be able to run away. I need to notch. I have to notch. Is Patrick's the one with 4 missiles? No, that was Conway. Patrick's, I don't think, has any missiles remaining. So if we look at Patrick's aircraft, I think he just launched his last 120. Yeah, he did. So here's Patrick's. He has no missiles left. And Gibson says, time is now, Patrick's. Well, he's got a lot of work to do with his M61 if he wants to make that happen. A lot of work. A lot of work. And I just, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. It's going to be really hard. All right, so let me get the cameras set up. We're going to, whoop. Let me fast forward this one. Let me get the cameras set up because I'm going to try and get a camera for each one of these pilots here. So Bad Lego, and then 3 is going to be Impact, and then 4 is going to be on Preacher. Okay. So we're going to watch this in TAC view for the time being until these guys get a little bit close. Patrick's is a bit far away right now. Impact is split-essing. Nobody from TAW is hot. So Preacher has a little bit of breathing room, or Patrick's, excuse me, has a little bit of breathing room right now. All right. Let's see if he's able to take anyone down with that M61 20 mil. Here we go. Again, we got a camera on each one of these. 1 is Patrick's. 2 is Bad Lego. 3 is... Oh. 3 is Impact, and 4 is Preacher. And Patrick's is now recommitting against Impact. Let's see if we can... Come on. Give me that F5 view. Give me that F5 view. Give me it. Give me it. Give me it. And Impact recognizes that things may get hairy. He's trying to stay defensive. He turns away. Preacher now, meanwhile, launches a 120, and that's coming in right at the nose of Patrick's. 1.5 miles, 1 mile, half mile, face mile, and Patrick's gets obliterated. He is gone. Doesn't even try to defend, and he may have recognized, like, I can't do anything without missiles against 3 adversaries. I'm just shit out of luck. And flies headlong into an incoming missile. Not good. Not good at all. Man. Again, TAW. With 3 pilots remaining. I thought they were in for a rough ride there at the beginning because they lost to Kano early. But they ended up being able to come back after the Kano loss, take no more losses, and really sock it to the ETF side. So I got to give TAW massive credit there. Doesn't look like ETF made them land, so we're going to back out back here. Awesome flying by both sides. That was a really good showcase of aggressive defensive maneuvering coming from both teams. Lots of those shots were coming from under 8, 7, 6 miles, and teams were being able to get away from those rather easily. At the end of that match, 29 minutes and out, we saw Barracuda, Conway, and Patrick's die. I think they got in a little too close. And Patrick's, I think, just kind of gave up there at the very end because it was 3v1 with no missiles remaining. I think he just kind of flew headlong, which I probably would have done the same. That's a rough position to be in. Quick shout-outs to Jerk for the Tier 1 sub. Last 2 months. Monk came in with the gifted sub. Thank you very much. Gordo B continues to make it rain with another 3 or 4 subs. Thank you very much, brother. But that brings us to the end. We are now at the end of today's matchup. The next matchup is going to be Toro Squadron taking on Eclipse Task Force. That is going to be tomorrow. Then Dragon Squadron against number 15. That will be Wednesday. Thursday, I think actually might be Griffin Squadron against MY Squadron, if we can squeeze it in. I think. So that's going to be Griffin versus MY. Okay. So we'll do that. And delete these other ones. So that will be Thursday. And then I don't know what Friday is going to be. So again, tomorrow, Toro Squadron taking on ETF. Wednesday, Dragon Squadron against number 15. And then Thursday, Griffin Squadron against MY Squadron. Now, this match, Thursday's, was the one that was supposed to be last Friday, but it hadn't flown yet. They flew it over the weekend, supposedly, so hopefully we'll be able to see that, and we'll be able to catch back up and get that on Thursday. But that brings us to the end, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for all of the support. Gordo B made it rain. We saw a lot of new faces thrown in the subs. If you guys have any interest in catching past broadcasts, make sure you click the panel down below for the YouTube channel. I do upload past broadcasts. I typically do them in batches of the week, so I'll probably do last week's either today or tomorrow. those that are missing. Did I find the missing Baby Shakers and TAW Wolfpack match? I probably forgot. Send me a PM, Mago, in Discord, and I'll try to look at that. If you want to make sure that you don't miss on any of these broadcasts, we are doing 1600 Zulu every day. Well, not every day. Sometimes I get worn out and I have to take a break. But we're doing at least Monday through Thursday for the time being to try and get caught back up. So we're adding an extra match a week to try and get caught back up because we're a little bit behind. And then we'll get caught back up. And we got a lot of action left. So we're sitting at the end of November, beginning of December. So we're about a month behind. We'll slowly get caught back up. But we're making progress. The finals and stuff will be taking place in March. So we'll be live or close to live at that point, or on par with the live matches at that point. We'll just have to see. And hopefully as we move forward and as more and more teams get the links for the private tracks and that thing gets easier, we'll be seeing more and more cameras come on, and we can hopefully see more and more first-person views. So that's going to bring us to the end of today's matchup, guys. Thank you for joining us. I will see you all back tomorrow for Toro Squadron taking on Eclipse Task Force. Pretty sure that's going to be the match tomorrow. If it changes, I will tweet it. Either I'll tweet tomorrow morning if that changes. But again, Toro Squadron against Eclipse Task Force tomorrow morning, 1600 Zulu. Stay safe in those virtual skies. And until next time, tomorrow, 1600 Zulu, I'll see you guys later.